Hello, OpAmp here, and today I have for you this Mul-T-Lock pin-in-pin cam lock. This is a 5-pin lock. Appears to have the Mul-T-Lock sort of classic keyway. Don't have a key for this one. The way that this works is it would be in like a filing cabinet or a vending machine, really anything where you want to keep sort of a drawer or a small door closed. And you'd have mounted on the back of this a little cam that would turn to block off that door. So I'm going to get this in the vise and we'll try to get it picked for you. Okay, I'm all set up in the vise here, and I'm just going to use a Z-bar for tension and a small flag. Starting in the front, we're going for binding outer pins. So outer of one is binding. Got a little click there, and outer of two binding, little click, 3, little click, 4 is loose, and 5 is binding. I'll lift him up, got a little click, and he feels nice and loose now. Back over to 4, nice click and some rotation, and I'm going to go back through the lock, and actually I tipped 4 again, and got some really good rotation. We're probably going to pick the inner pins now. So it's a really nice fall set. Not sure exactly what's going on with that pin. Could have been a torpedo pin or some sort of a spool, but I didn't get any counter rotation, so maybe serrated. So I think I got the inner of 3 now. Coming over to inner of 4 and 5, and we got that open. So not too bad of a pick there. Very curious to see what's contained in here. Let's take a look. Let me get my vise out of the way and reposition you so we can do a little bit of gutting. Hopefully that guy won't roll away. Get my gutting supplies in here and a nice angle for you. Okay, first thing I think I'm going to have to do is get the clip off of this without unlocking it or causing any sort of disaster. So actually, let me bring my tension wrench back in and sort of just shove it in there so that I can use it as something to push against. And I'll see if how well I can do this. Let's see if we can pop that off of there, and it looks like yes we can. All right, not too bad. Get that guy off. Let me think about how I want to gut this. Looks like I actually might need a shim, so hang on one second. I'm gonna get that from my kit. And sometimes when you have locks like this where you've got like a big gap, you want to put a shim in there just in case, so that nothing falls down. So I'm going to get that shim and just kind of try to wiggle him right in there. Wiggle that over. Hopefully that will keep whoops, I'm already gutting. Hopefully that'll keep those drivers from catching on this part. And let's see what we can do here. Let me be mindful of where my key pins are coming out of, which should be that end. A little nerve-wracking through the camera here. Okay, and I think I've got everything together. Whew. Let me zoom you out just a touch. And already I can see a little ball bearing. That's probably drill protection. We'll get that guy out of there. Yeah, that doesn't look like any sort of active element. And now we'll get your key pins out of here. So we've got 1 inner and outer. And 2 inner, come on, and outer, and that's like a mushroom sort of torpedo-y guy. And now we got 3. And that's, oh, that's actually a 2-part pin. I think I know what that is. We'll come back to that. And this is 4. And finally 5, inner and outer. So let me arrange those for a minute. Nothing fancy going on here. Looks pretty standard to me. Got the nice drill protection and that ball bearing for some extra protection. This 2-part pin right here, if I can get them apart, is most likely an anti-bump pin. I'll get that guy apart in a minute. Let's get out the rest of your pins. Get out the drivers. I'm going to pull out the shim because I don't think I'll need that anymore. And we're going to go for driver for 1. And we got the driver for 1 and a little short guy because this is such a sort of small lock. There's not a lot of room in the Bible. And number 2, also one of those short guys with a regular spring. And they're also, these short drivers are not really security. They're not serrated or anything like that because there's really not a lot of room to make those features. So everything's kind of compressed a little bit. We'll get that out of there. I venture to guess these are all going to be the same, so I think we're all right there. Oh, and we had another little surprise, but not surprise. I'll show you that in a second. Get all these drivers in there with their springs. You can see that little, oh, that guy sprung off. Let me get him. Let me first show you one of these drivers. So these are real works of art here. If I can kind of show you, we'll see if we can get zoomed in on this. This is still a sprung pin in pin. Look at that. Really, really nice work on that. The machining really precise on that guy. And then we have this little half moon piece that actually fits right into a slot in the front here, and that's an additional piece of drill protection. So we've got this sort of half moon. I'm sure this is hardened steel for drill protection, plus extra drill protection down the side of the plug. So anyway, this is a cam lock, Mul-T-Lock Cam Lock. You can see your bitting right there. Almost forgot to show you the anti-bump pin. If I can get this guy to cooperate and come apart for me. Might be fit a little tight. Basically, it's a 2-part pin because theoretically, anyway, you could bump this. There's no real, except for those 2 little torpedo-y pins, there's not a real security drivers in it. So this anti-bump pin is this 2-part pin, and basically, since it has a different mass and it can separate, when you go and you start to bump, these pieces are actually going to separate slightly in there and catch, and they may even separate completely and catch. And what that's going to do is prevent you from just bumping everything up to the shear line, because you know you have a decent chance bumping all these up and all these drivers up. When you bump that driver and immediately following it is this little piece, hopefully that's going to jam and prevent bumping. So anyway, like I said, this is a Mul-T-Lock Cam Lock, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see some more, please subscribe, and this has been OpAmp. Thank you for watching.